I wanted to talk to you guys today about if you're waiting for a promotion, what you guys need to do. If you are one that maybe you are trying to wait on one, or maybe you have asked for one and it has not come, I really believe this live stream is going to help you out a lot. So first thing is this: when you're wanting to advance in the role that you have now, it's going to be super important that you are able to kind of assess where you are now. I think that is going to be key. It's going to be important for you to be able to assess where you are now. I cannot stress that enough. And I think that's something that most people don't do. They kind of know, okay, I brought forth some results, but they haven't really begun to assess where they are. And so when it comes to you wanting to advance in the current role that you are in, sometimes it may not happen as easy as you think that it should. But in some cases, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong all the time. And so I think the first thing that you need to do is take an honest look at where you are now, meaning it's really important for you to take an honest look at your skills. You definitely want to take an honest look at your strengths, at those areas that you may be weak in. And it's time for you to see, okay, as far as your strengths, as far as those areas that you are weak in, is this something that could be stopping you? And you're like, Alicia, so my strengths could be stopping me? Yes. And that really just depends on the role you are in now and the role you are wanting to advance in. For instance, you can say, Alicia, one of the things that I'm really, really good in is that I work very, very good just by myself, right? Well, if you're wanting to advance in a role, right, to where you have to maybe like lead a team, right? Now it's time for you to assess, are the areas that you're really strong in right now, right? Could that stop you from wanting to advance in the role that you're in? And a lot of people don't want to take an honest look at themselves. They tend to ride on the fact that they think that, them being able to advance in their role is something that they just deserve. But when you're wanting to really position yourself to advance in the role that you're in, it's not just about how you see you, it's also about how the people around you see you as well. And so, you guys know I talk a lot about here, and it's really important that you guys have the right mindset. And so you can spend a lot of time trying to build this up, and I think that's great, right? But also, it is going to be, it's very, very important for you to also have yourself in a place to where the people around you also see that as well. And so I think it's really important for you to be able to assess where you are. Also, it's going to be important for you to be able to identify the gaps that could be possibly holding you back. I think what tends to happen a lot of times that when people are wanting to advance in their role and they are told no, they just stop there, right? And they don't really get clear on what are the gaps, right? And they are afraid to maybe ask, hey, are there any strengths that you need for this next role that I don't have? Or they tend to let the person on the other side just kind of throw them a kind of fluffy, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll get back to you. And it's really, really important that if you are one that is wanting to ask to advance in your role, that you get really clear feedback, because at the end of the day, it may not be you. But if you're not getting clear feedback on where you are now and what are those growths, then those gaps, then you're going to find yourself always doubting you. And in this case, it may not be you. It could just be that they don't want to lose you in the current role that you have now, because you do add so much value there. And so when it comes to these companies, they can be very selfish because you do so well in the role that you have now. They don't want to hire anybody else and have to train anybody else all over again. So they can kind of have this hold on you to where they know that the value that you have is great, but they don't want to go through the work and the effort that it's going to take to be able to train somebody else for your role. And that's why when you are wanting to advance and you don't hear the response that you think that you should, you need to be getting clear feedback. And not just clear feedback, but getting back solid timelines to where if they did say no at this time, but now you have a very clear outline plan on what are those gaps that need to be filled. Now you can work on these gaps, and now you can get a very clear timeline goal. Okay, when these gaps are filled, what are next steps. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to let them bring you on some kind of just, merry-go-round and you find yourself just sitting there and you waste so much time. But I tell people, like, you cannot move forward until you know where you stand. And sometimes when you are ready to go to that next role and you are told no, and they did not give you any clear outlines or gaps to fill, sometimes the no lets you know where you stand. Right. And so I don't want you guys holding on to a false hope of, hey, they will see one day. Right. Because that one day could possibly be, who knows, right? You can find yourself there for the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years. And that next day is just in your mind and it's not real. So I think it's very important for you to be able to really assess where you are and be able to see, if they tell me no, what is my next steps? Because sometimes you can get into the habit of, if they tell you no, right, you are trying to wait on their next steps, right? But it should be, if they tell me no, what will my next steps be, right? And so it's so important that even if you're wanting to advance in your role, and even if you're wanting to create your own path, you're going to have to start to be honest with where you are. But also, it's going to be very important for you to be honest if the work that you do is being valued. And so I don't want you guys trying to just wait and wait and wait and wait on a false hope, and you let so much time go by. And I always say, what one company will not do, another one will happily do, right? But it's going to be up to you to be able to really believe that and lean on that and not be afraid to say no. But on the same other side of that, if you are one that is wanting to advance in your role, right, it's going to be important for you to make the ask. Because people think, okay, when they see me, right, when they feel that I am in a right place, then they'll know, right? And they will extend me the opportunity to advance. And that's not always the case either. And this is why this live stream is about you being able to create your own opportunities, you being able to really create your own path on what advancement is going to look like for you, because you can't leave that in the hands of your boss. You have to be able to say, hey, these are my goals. These are the things that I want to achieve in X, Y, and Z time frame, right? And I'm not trying to shift the goals that I have because they cannot see them. And a lot of times you're going to have to be honest. Again, you being able to advance in your career, a lot of it is based on you being honest and clear, right? And it's going to be up to you to be able to be honest with yourself and be able to, and be able to identify when they cannot meet your goals. Be able to identify when they can no longer meet your goals. And a lot of times that can come from a place of you just have simply outgrown them, right? Your goals and your expectations have outgrown what they can give you. And so your career is not about you busting down doors and shoving your goals and your expectations down their throats and saying, give me what I want. But what it's about is you being able to find spaces that are in alignment with your goals and your expectations, and you being able to find spaces to where you can have these goals and expectations met, right? And both sides are able to be benefited. But in most people careers, it doesn't work like that. In most people careers, you have one side that usually gives a lot more than they receive back, right? And so I want you guys starting to assess, okay, is the reason why I'm not where I want to be in my career, is it on me or them? And you not being able to take the action, you not being able to have the conversations, a lot of times that is what's holding back that growth. So I want now, again, to say that if you do want to advance in your role and you haven't had the conversations that you should be having at this point, start to ask yourself why. Why is it that I'm afraid, right? Or why is it that I don't feel like it's something that should not be done right now? And majority of the times it is fear, and it's the fear of being told no. But I want you guys to start to lean more on no. When I say lean more on no, meaning that start to get excited about a no, just as excited you are about a yes. because it comes to a point where you guys don't always use being in a relationship all the time as an example, but it comes to a point where you got to be like, hey, where do we stand? And sometimes them saying, hey, you're doing a very awesome job with us, we love the work you do, da 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 da, that can only take you so far. Don't let your version of career success just be about compliments. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but you come to a point in your career where you have put in the work. You come to a point in your career where you have the results. You have invested the time and the money and you have invested personal time, right? There are some people that may have even had to invest, right, time with their family, meaning that they had to take away time from their family to work. And so when you look back and you see all of the things that you have invested up until this point, you get to a point where it's time to reap. And most people feel selfish. Most people feel like, I think I may be expecting too much. But it's not about you being selfish. It's about you understanding that I have invested so much and now it's time to reap. And so if you have not yet even come to terms with the fact of there's nothing wrong with me wanting to reap off of my investment, right? That's going to stop you, right? And so you got to begin to really reframe the way that you even see you being able to advance in your role. They're not doing you a favor, right? They're just allowing you the opportunity to expand your expertise even the more that is going to benefit them, right? So if you even sit down and you even start to even ask for the opportunity to advance in your role, and if you're already thinking, ooh, if you guys don't mind, right? Or if you already having your mindset of, ooh, please let me do this, you've already lost the fight. It's so important for you to be able to sit down and to be able to ask to advance in your role and let them see, hey, you guys see the successes and you guys have seen the results that I've brought forth so far. Now I'm ready to expand my expertise. Now I'm ready to expand the results that I bring, because I want to take this company to another level. But most people are not going to talk like that. They're like, yeah, I've been in my role now here for 3-4 years, and I know you guys have, and so I think it will be really, really good if I can move into, no. It's so important to know how to own the conversations that you're in. When I say own, not saying that you just come in and take full control, but owning the conversation that you're in just simply means that, hey, I believe the value that I bring here. And I now have a really clear idea of how it is that I want to help you guys. I see exactly where we are. I understand where you guys want to be. And I know with my expertise, I can bring you there, but I cannot bring you there in the role that I am in now. Now, if you were on the other side of this conversation, which person would you feel more confident allowing them to advance? Now, do you think it'll be that first person? Oh yeah, so I would really like if you guys could. No, you want the person that is clear on what the actual objectives there, and somebody that knows and believes, right? That once they expand that expertise, that they can bring forth those results. But again, it's all about you being able to be clear on what that is. And that actually is going to bring me to my next point. And my next point is, you have to be able to evaluate what your goals are. Because even when you're wanting to ask for a promotion, y'all, because I know I talk a lot about you being able to advance, but sometimes you being able to get a promotion is not always the answer to advance. So let's have that conversation. Sometimes you wanting to advance in your career, right? You being able to move up into that next role, that may not be the answer that you are looking for, right? Now, you know that you want to advance in your role, but you just automatically lean on, oh, it's this, because this is the next clear step up, is this, right? But does that next step up, Like, does that even align with the goals that you have? Does that even align with the life that you want to live? You know that that next step up where you are now is going to mean more hours, right? It means that you may have to lead more people. And you know, deep down, I don't know if I really want to do that. But hey, this is just the only next clear step that I see, right? And so I want you guys to really start to identify. I want to advance. So what does advancement look like for me? You being able to get clear on what your priorities are and what your goals are, and if that promotion even aligns with that. Because sometimes you being able to advance in your career doesn't mean you staying where you are. It can simply mean you doing what you do now, just with somebody else. You know, advancement doesn't have to just look one way. And I don't want you to let your ambition blind you to what your limitations are. I'm gonna say that again. I don't want you to let your that drive that you have blind you to what your limitations are. And I want to explain exactly what I mean by that. And I said that because for me, y'all know I go hard in everything that I do, but I also have to always bring myself back to my why. The reason why I even started this is because I needed to be able to have a life that was flexible. A lot of you guys know me and my husband, we're involved in our church so much, pastor's wife. And so sometimes I get really great ideas in my mind of where I am now. And I'm like, oh, I could do this. Oh, and I could do this. Alicia, go back to your why. Why did you start this business? You started this business so you could have more time. You didn't start this business so you can spend double the hours having to work because you just got so many ideas. And so sometimes you can find yourself like that. You say that you want more time with your kids. Yeah. So whenever I say your why, I mean, like, why is it that you want the things that you want? Like, what is that true motivator that is driving you to make and decide on the things that you want? Always going back to your why. Why do I want this? And this could be different for everybody. And I think everybody needs to get clear on what is it that drives them. Me, what drives me is freedom of time, of finances. That is what drives me. There are some people that the results, they want to see results. They have to be able to see that the effort that they do in their work, like something is being done. There are some people, again, you could be like me. My life, my dream life is what drives me. That is what allows me to decide what I will and I will not accept. And so you being able to have a why is going to keep you from, one, feeling like you got to meet everybody else's expectations. You being able to really identify what your why is going to help you to be able to get clear on what you want. And you having a why is going to keep you holding on in the process of trying to reach that goal. Because I think people need to be more honest, right? There are things that you want in life that the road to it ain't gonna be easy. Okay, you're gonna be like, hold on. I said, I said that I wanted to change careers, but I'm in this job search, and this job search ain't going like how I thought. This is now month 3. I thought by month 2 I was gonna have something, and I'm still in a job search and I don't have results. Okay, now in the moment when you want to quit, grab on to your why. Why am I doing this? It's so important to really be able to have a clear why, because it is going to sustain you in those hard times, and it is going to keep you from being a people pleaser, because now you know that what you do is for you. And so career advancement may not look like what it looked like for everybody else. You being able to advance in your career could be you, okay, wait a minute, I need to find a role that is going to pay me more money, but I need less stress. So it may not be about you trying to advance into some kind of C-suite role. It could be you just having to take an actual lateral move. And you can take a move that's on the same rank and you could possibly be paid more, right? And so it's so many different ways to look at career advancement. This is why I'm talking about being able to pave your way. And so I want to ask you guys, do you have a clear path to what career advancement looks like for you? Because it's very important for you guys to start to identify, okay, I may not know exactly what I want, but am I at least going in the right direction? My next point that I want to talk about is, are you really ready for a promotion? You guys always have a little, if you are sensitive, I ask that you hit that X button and leave now. No, I'm just playing. But so for those of you guys that maybe feel unclear in what that path of career advancement look like for you, I want you to ask yourself, what could be driving the feeling of being unclear? Because it could be a few things, and I'll take about a minute to explore what they could be, so I can kind of help you to kind of deep dive into that. So one reason why you could be unclear, again, is because you don't have any clear priorities, or the things that you do find important, you maybe have not had the opportunity to make them important. Now that's a word, okay? Because it's one thing to say that something is important, is another thing is to make something important. Another reason why you could feel unclear right now is fear, right? Because when you know what you want, and if the dream is too big and it scares you, it can make you feel like, I don't know what it is that I want. And you do know what you want. You are just afraid to just proclaim it because it's a fear of, I don't think that I can actually have it. And I'll say this, when I'm talking about having a path, I'm just talking about, can you see yourself where you are now and where it is that you want to be? I'm not talking about, step A, B, C, D. I'm talking about where you are now. Can you see yourself getting towards that goal that you want? And so when I say a clear path, I don't mean a path that is clear of hardships. I'm not talking about a path that is clear of things that you may have to face. I'm talking about, can you see yourself moving towards the goal that you want? And a lot of times, if the goal is too big, you'd be like, child, I don't know what I want. I have a coach that I work with, and I love her because she always keeps me, she's like, Alicia, what do you want? And I'd be like, she's like, no, you know what you want. But it's a fear there because, the same way that I'm up here trying to, have you guys encouraged, I have to go through the same thing. And so she's like, no, Alicia, you know what it is that you want. It's just that you're afraid to say it, because it's like, if you say that you want something, now it's now I have to actually achieve it. And if I don't achieve it, I'll feel like I failed. Or it could be the fear of success. People don't realize fear of success is a thing. You could be afraid, y'all, to actually get the thing that you want, because you're not sure of how your life is going to change once you get the thing that you want. So just as fear of failure is a thing, fear of success is a thing too. And then also, a lot of times why your path won't seem as clear is because you feel like there's so much more that I need in order to reach the goal. And there could very well be times where you do need to right? There are gaps there. Like, hey, I really need to fill these gaps in. But in most cases, it doesn't take what you think that it does. The clients I work with, they be like, girl, I thought I was going to have to wait all this time. Who told you that? And that's why when we have fears, or when we have different things that we have assumed, ask yourself, what are these fears based upon? What are these doubts based upon? And a lot of times you realize that there is no fact support them. It's just simply what you thought. And it's simply those fears that have allowed you to build up a storyline around them to make your goals seem impossible. But it's not real. If it doesn't seem as clear, ask yourself, is my path not as clear because I just haven't sat down and just given myself the time to think about what it is that I want? Because sometimes people don't even give themselves time to think and just pray about what they want. They spend so much time in here fighting with self-doubt and fear that they haven't even given themselves the opportunity to really sit down and think about, okay, what is in the way of me being able to achieve the goals that I want to achieve? Because when you get clear on that, and now you're able to confront the gaps and not run from them. And so I want you to ask yourself, are you really ready for a promotion? Again, this is going to cause you to be self-aware. A lot of people don't want to do that. They just like, nope, give it to me, right? But ask yourself, are you really ready for the goal? are you really ready to be able to sustain it? Because when you're talking about advancement, it's not just about what are you able to get, it's also about what are you able to sustain. Most people want to make more money. Have you been faithful in the money that you do have now? Most people want to be able to lead bigger teams. Okay, well, you may only lead 1 or 2 people now. It's like, what have you done with those 1 to 2 people that you lead now? And so we can be in a position to where we're asking for more and more and more and more and more, but we haven't even been able to sustain what we have now. Sitting down, being able to identify, what does a promotion look like for me? What does career advancement look like for me? Because you could be at a place, I don't want no more added on responsibilities. I just want to make more money. Cool. Because child, things is getting expensive out here. So a promotion and advancement for you could simply mean, I just need to make more money. And that does not mean that you're going to have to work harder. You could simply just be underpaid where you are now. I've worked with plenty of clients where they were able to move on, keep the same job title, get paid more, and do less. So get clear, okay, the season that I am in now, what is it that I need? Yes, being able to sustain it. Because the worst thing that you can do is pump yourself up, you know what I mean? Because you want this great role. And then you get in the great role and you fall flat on your face. Because for one, you didn't ask for help. You did not sit down to identify those gap areas. You did not sit down to think about what is going to be required of me. Right. I've worked with clients who like, okay, I was in this role for a year. I thought this is what I wanted, but I hate it. I don't want to do this no more. That's just because they just leaned on, okay, this is just the obvious next step. The obvious next step, that don't mean nothing, because the obvious next step for somebody else may not be that for you. That's why it's important for you to be able to get clear on, what season am I in? Everybody wants so much. And look, you could have a really great goal, but you could be like, you know, Alicia, I've thought about this. I've actually sat down with the Lord and I prayed about this. And this is good for me in the next 3 years. But right now, this is what I need. Hey, let's keep this goal. But what I need right now is this. And there's nothing wrong. That doesn't take anything from you. And this is why I tell you guys, don't take your career decisions personal. Never do that. You know what you can handle right now. You know what life demands of you right now. There are so many things that I want to do in my business right now. But I'm not about to just break my back. I have a husband, I have a child that I'm having to homeschool. I'm already running a full-time business. I'm involved in my ministry. I cannot break my back just because I want to be successful. Because if I was to reach this level of success and I break my back having to do it, it's not going to feel like success. I'm going to literally hate the very thing that I spent all this time building. Makes absolutely no sense. People be like, because I've been doing this full time for 3 years. Oh, you should be here. No, I'm right where I need to be. I know what I can handle. I don't want to work all the time. I want to be able to enjoy my family. I want to be able to spend time with the Lord. I don't want to be able to just have to grind and grind and grind. Has there been seasons in my business where work was a little bit more hectic? Absolutely. But I knew that it was just a season and I was not trying to reside here. A lot of you guys are living in seasons that you were only meant to like pass through, but you have set up shop and you chilling and you are resting in a season that you were supposed to just pass through. I do believe that when you are starting off in your career, you do have to grind a little bit more. You do have to kind of bend a little bit more, right? But that's a season. Hey, I'm doing this because there are skills that I need to gain, right? There is certain opportunities here that I want. But you come to a point in your career, you're like, I'm done with that grinding. I'm done with that overly exhausting myself. No kind of work life. You get to a point where you like, hey, it's time to reap back what I have invested. But some of you guys have been in your careers 10, 15, 20 years and you're still investing and you haven't reaped anything. You have decided to reside in a season that you were supposed to just pass through. You should have been out this a long time ago. The season of the job that you were in now, you were only supposed to stay here to learn and to grow. And that advancement, that next level, been waiting on you. You know, but you find yourself just getting too comfortable. And it's crazy that people would get comfortable in chaos. You cannot get comfortable in chaos. Can there be seasons of chaos? Absolutely. but to get comfortable in chaos and just to accept that this is the way that life is, and just set up shop, and you can see the life that you really wanted afar off, but you decided to just grab your pillow and your blanket and wrap up and just get comfortable in something that was meant to be temporary. Child, you was only supposed to stay in that job to gain some skills. You was only supposed to stay in that job to build some relationships and be out. But now you look at me like, child, it's 7 years. I'm still here. And you wonder why I feel, oh my God, I'm stuck. Yeah, you stuck. Because you was never supposed to stay there. Again, I tell you guys, don't make your career decisions personal, but you guys get comfortable. And I love my team. What would they do without me? Friend, a lot of people are finding out right now what their company would do without them. Don't make your career decisions personal. Only personal thing you should be making about your career is this going to support the life that I want? That's it. All that other, I don't know what they would do without me. Oh my God, I love my team so much. Oh my God, I've put so much work here. Child, just the same way that you built all of this greatness here, you can take your skills and go build it somewhere else. All right, so okay, and I'll see you guys. Bye.